Welcome to the deep dive, the place where we sift through the noise, stack up the research, and basically give you the essential playbook for being well-informed.
Yeah, getting straight to the point.
Exactly. Now, be honest. When was the last time you had like a really crucial, life-changing task on your list? And instead of tackling it, you suddenly found yourself, I don't know, organizing your sock drawer.
Or deciding, at 3 p.m., that you absolutely must research the history of the stapler. We've all been there.
It's that universal tendency, isn't it?
Yeah.
Putting things off until a tomorrow that never comes.
Mm-hmm. We avoid the hard stuff, the important stuff, by doing, well, frankly, unimportant tasks. That's pretty much the definition of procrastination.
And that's exactly our focus today. We are diving deep into a practical, really actionable 7-day framework. It's specifically designed to confront this habit.
This really disempowering habit, yeah.
And the goal for you listening in, it's not total eradication. I mean, our sources are really clear on this.
Yeah.
Even the most productive people out there procrastinate sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. It's part of being human.
The mission here is simpler. It's about learning how to tame this impulse, to fundamentally change your relationship with your work, and potentially do it in just 7 days.
Which sounds ambitious, but the framework is solid. Because the cost of not doing anything, the cost of inaction is just, well, it's astronomical, isn't it?
It really is.
If you look at the source material we dug into, it argues that procrastination has probably destroyed more human dreams, more opportunities, more potential than almost anything else.
Wow. That's a heavy thought.
It's insidious. It's like this future-stealing mechanism that operates quietly in the background.
That immediately makes me think of that Eisenhower quote. It frames the stakes so perfectly, something like,
Neither a wise nor a brave man lies down on the tracks of history to wait for the train of the future to run over him.
Exactly. You can't just stand still and let opportunity pass you by because you're waiting for the perfect moment or feeling scared or whatever.
Precisely. You have to engage. So let's start by understanding why we do this. Procrastination, at its very root, it's a signal from your brain.
Okay, a signal.
Yeah. Your brain is fundamentally wired for survival. That means conserving energy and avoiding risk. Those are top priorities.
Right. The basics. Fight or flight, conserve resources.
Exactly. So when you face a task that seems difficult or complex or maybe something you could fail at, the brain sees that. It perceives it as demanding too much energy or potentially being dangerous to your ego.
Ah, okay. So if I'm facing, say, writing a massive high-stakes report, my, primal brain sees that as the threat, not the lack of the report, but the doing of it.
Precisely. It's sending the signal, stop, conserve resources, do the easy thing instead. Watch some cat videos, organize those socks.
So it's basically an obsolete protection mechanism. Is that fair to say?
That's a great way to put it. It was useful when we were, literally running from lions.
Right. Don't waste energy unless you absolutely have to.
But in modern life, where success demands taking calculated risks, expending focused energy, sometimes doing things that feel uncomfortable, that same mechanism actually holds us back. It prevents us from reaching our potential.
It's like old software running on a new operating system. It just doesn't quite fit the current reality.
Perfectly said.
But sometimes, it feels deeper than just energy saving. The sources we looked at hint at this psychological barrier too. Like we sometimes procrastinate because we're actually avoiding our own capability.
The fear of being powerful.
Yeah, that idea of playing small. The source mentioned that, quote, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure.
That's a fascinating and, frankly, quite challenging insight. It suggests that real success demands sustained effort, vulnerability, massive focus.
Maybe we're scared of that. Scared of what we might have to live up to if we actually achieve something huge.
Could be. It's often mentally safer to remain the sort of powerless creature who puts things off, rather than discovering what intense focused effort truly demands of you, or what you're capable of.
Okay, that sets the stage really well. So let's get into this 7-day structure. How does it guide us through tackling this? It starts with preparation and diagnosis.
Right. The framework kicks off with day 1, decluttering the mind.
Okay, I like that starting point because I think a lot of people, myself included sometimes, assume procrastination equals laziness.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just mental overload.
Very often it is. The main culprit here is what the sources call open loops. Think of them as all the unresolved issues just buzzing around in your head.
Like what?
Unpaid bills, emails you haven't answered, chores lingering, maybe that argument you never quite resolved, all those little unfinished things.
Oh, okay. And those just sit there draining mental energy.
Constantly. It ties directly into that William James quote, "Nothing is so fatiguing as the eternal hanging on of an uncompleted task."
Right. Your mind is sort of running a background app for every single one of those unresolved tasks.
Exactly. And that cumulative cognitive load is just exhausting. There's actually a psychological principle, the Zeigarnik effect.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
It basically shows that our minds remember uncompleted tasks much better, much more vividly than completed ones. So every open loop is actively fighting for your attention.
Leaving you with basically no mental bandwidth left for the difficult, complex work that actually matters.
Precisely. So the fix for day one is simple, but really powerful. And it's scientifically backed. You have to close those loops.
No.
Two main ways. Either you complete one major task you've been putting off, like right now, get it done.
Okay, direct action.
Or, and this might be even more crucial long term, you list every single unfinished task you can think of, everything. And then you schedule a specific time to complete each one.
So just the act of scheduling it, getting it out of your head and onto a calendar, that frees up the mental RAM.
It absolutely does. It tells your brain, okay, this is handled. It has a time slot. You can stop worrying about it now.
Makes sense. So clear the clutter first. What's day 2?
Day 2 is all about identifying the roadblocks. Once the immediate clutter is reduced, you need to figure out why you procrastinate on the big stuff. You can't solve a problem if you don't know its specific cause.
Right. And this requires some brutal honesty, I imagine.
Definitely. You have to look inward.
So what are the main possibilities we're looking for here? What kind of roadblocks?
The sources list 4 critical ones. First, is it a lack of clarity? Meaning you're just not sure what to do or how to do it.
Okay. Simple confusion.
Second, is it poor focus? Are you just too overstimulated by distractions, emails, notifications, everything?
Very common these days.
Third, is it fear? Fear of failure, maybe fear of judgment, or even, as we touched on, fear of success.
The deeper stuff.
And fourth, is it simply a lack of effective routines? Or maybe a lack of genuine urgency around the task? If you don't diagnose the real reason, any solution you try will probably feel temporary. It won't stick.
Got it. Diagnose the root cause. Then, day 3 moves on to the internal narrative, right? Challenging the motivation myth.
Exactly. This is a big one. We've all been kind of taught, or at least we assume, that motivation has to come before action. You have to feel like it first.
Yeah, wait for inspiration to strike.
But what if that's the biggest lie we tell ourselves about getting things done?
Okay, I'm listening.
The core principle here, backed by a lot of research and experience, is that action leads to motivation, not the other way around.
Really. Action first.
Yes. Momentum is a powerful force. Once you just start something, even if it's just for 5 minutes, your brain often releases chemicals, endorphins maybe, that make the task feel less threatening. Motivation actually follows the action.
Huh. So if motivation doesn't lead action, that kind of flips the script on how we approach goals, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How do we force ourselves to act when that ancient brain signal is screaming, stop?
We override the signal. We use discipline and routine. Think about the writer Stephen King.
Okay. Prolific guy.
Famously, he says he doesn't wait around for his muse to show up. He sits down at the desk every single morning, same time, and basically demands its presence through the act of working.
He shows up so the muse has to.
Right. He's aligned himself with the reality that you don't have to feel inspired or motivated to do the work. The work itself can become the source of inspiration or at least satisfaction.
That immediately cuts through something we all do, I think, which is emotional reasoning.
Explain that.
Well, it's the idea that because I feel unmotivated or I feel overwhelmed, it must be objectively true that I can't do the task right now.
Yes. Mistaking a feeling for a fact.
Exactly. So discipline in this context is just the ability to make yourself do the necessary work regardless of how you happen to feel in that moment.
That's a perfect summary. And this ties into a couple of specific negative mental models that really keep us stuck in procrastination. The first one the sources highlight is the future self myth.
The future self myth. What's that?
It's where we offload the burden of today, that tough email, the big project, whatever it is, onto our future self.
Right. We imagine this future version of us who is somehow better equipped, stronger, wiser, more energetic than the messy person we are right now.
Exactly. We tell ourselves, oh, future me will handle it. Future me will have the energy or the clarity that I lack right now.
But that's a lie, isn't it?
It's a total fantasy. Your future self is simply the cumulative result of the small, manageable actions you take today. If you just keep dumping today's neglected task onto them, Well, they're going to be just as overwhelmed, if not more so, than you are right now.
Ouch. Okay, that makes sense. Burdening your future self.
Yeah.
What's the second mental model?
It's surviving versus thriving. This taps right back into that obsolete brain mechanism we talked about earlier.
The energy conservation risk avoidance thing.
Right. Survival mode prioritizes comfort, avoiding effort, staying safe. Thriving, on the other hand, achieving your potential, requires overruling those basic instincts sometimes.
So we have to consciously decide. Decide that we're prioritizing long-term potential, long-term goals over that immediate short-term comfort of avoidance.
That's the choice, essentially. Are you operating from the old brain survival instinct or the new brain potential-seeking drive?
Okay. So we've cleared clutter, diagnosed roadblocks, challenged the motivation myth, and identified these unhelpful mental models. What's next in the 7-day plan? Day 4.
Day 4 is absolutely critical, the clarity imperative. This goes back to the diagnosis phase. If you're stuck on something, chances are you're not actually lazy. You're probably just unclear about some aspect of the task.
Clarity makes things easier. That seems intuitive.
It's huge. Tasks become exponentially less daunting, less procrastination-inducing when they are absolutely crystal clear.
And the sources break clarity down into 3 specific components we need, right?
Cool.
Before we even start.
Yes. You need to know the why, the what, and the how.
Okay, let's unpack those. The why.
The why is your leverage. It's the reason you're doing this task in the first place. Sometimes it's exciting, sometimes it's not. If you can't find an exciting why, ask yourself, what are the negative long-term consequences if I don't do this? That can be powerful too.
Finding the motivation, positive or negative.
Okay.
Then the what's.
The what needs to be incredibly specific and measurable. You have to be able to picture the exact final output, not just work on the report.
No, that's too vague.
Right. It needs to be something like complete the first 3 pages of the executive summary, including the key data points. Super specific. You know exactly what done looks like for that step.
Makes sense. Removes ambiguity.
And the how.
The how is your actual plan of attack. Resistance, procrastination often stems from simply not knowing the best or most efficient way to proceed.
Yeah, that feeling of where do I even start?
Exactly. So you need a specific step-by-step plan. If you don't know how, that procrastination signal gets way louder. So the action is, write the plan down. Ask someone who's done it before. Google the best approach.
Getting clear on the how reduces the perceived risk and the perceived energy demand instantly.
Instantly. Clarity is like kryptonite to procrastination.
Okay, so clarity is key, but then you have to protect that focus, right? Which brings us to day 5.
Day 5, overcoming overstimulation. This is absolutely crucial in our, hyper-digital age.
Tell me about it. Think about it. If you spend the first hour of your day checking social media, bouncing between news alerts, scrolling through emails, jumping from notification to notification, what are you training your brain to do?
Seek novelty. Constant little dopamine hits.
Exactly. You're training it to crave novelty and constant stimulation, which makes the later shift to deep, focused, challenging work that requires sustained, sometimes boring concentration feel like absolute torture.
Yeah, your brain rebels. It tells you that the quick hit of excitement from scrolling is the same thing as the deeper fulfillment you get from real work.
And we fall for that trick every single time. It feels easier in the moment.
So what's the strategy here? How do we fight back against overstimulation?
It's actually kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah.
You have to intentionally lower your stimulation level before you tackle important work.
Lower it, like calm things down.
Yes. The most effective strategy is to work on your most important task first thing in the morning, before you let all those other distractions flood in.
So no email first thing, no checking stats or social media.
Definitely not. No videos, no news feeds, nothing until that key task for the day is either done or you've made significant progress on it. Protect that initial high-focus window.
We have to actively make it harder to get distracted and easier to start the work.
Precisely. Increase the friction for distraction, decrease the friction for focus, put the phone in another room, turn off the Wi-Fi if you don't need it for the task. Use website blocking software. You're intentionally making distraction a chore, not the default.
Designing your environment for focus. Got it. That intentional focus then prepares us for day 6, which tackles
fear. Day 6, releasing fear. Because even when we have clarity, even when we've managed stimulation, that internal voice of inadequacy can still stop us cold.
The I'm not good enough voice.
It's a classic. And it's genuinely comforting, I think, to realize just how universal this feeling is. It's not just you.
Yeah, the sources mentioned some high achievers.
Right. People like Jodie Foster admitting after winning an Oscar she thought it was just a fluke. Or Meryl Streep, arguably one of the greatest actors ever, confessing she still sometimes thinks, I don't know how to act anyway, so why am I doing this?
Wow. If they feel that way.
Exactly. These are people at the absolute pinnacle of their fields, still wrestling with feelings of inadequacy. So the crucial shift isn't getting rid of the fear, it's changing your relationship with it.
How do we do that?
Recognize that these feelings, these fears of inadequacy, aren't necessarily a sign that you are inadequate. Often, they're actually a sign of having high standards. They can be a tool for growth.
A tool? How?
High achievers don't let the fear paralyze them. They use it as fuel. It encourages them to prepare more, to practice more, to constantly improve. It keeps them sharp.
Okay, so instead of letting it stop us, we use it as motivation to get better. Adopt a kind of lifelong learner mindset.
Precisely. And a really powerful technique the sources mention is adding one simple word when that negative voice pops up. When it says you're not good enough, you just add yet.
You're not good enough. Yet.
Ah,
I like that.
it completely reframes the criticism, doesn't it? It turns it from a fixed statement into a temporary state, an achievable goal. You start evaluating your progress based on consistent improvement, not on some impossible standard of instant perfection.
Focus on getting better, not being perfect immediately.
Exactly. And to really fundamentally shatter those deep-seated, self-limiting beliefs about what you can and can't do, the source suggests doing the impossible thing.
The impossible thing. Sounds dramatic.
It's not about being reckless. It's about deliberately choosing to tackle something you genuinely believed was beyond your capabilities.
Like what? Give me an example.
It could be anything that pushes your specific boundaries. Maybe taking a genuinely uncomfortable cold shower every morning. Maybe giving an impromptu speech if that terrifies you. Maybe cold calling that high-level client you've been avoiding.
Something that feels genuinely impossible to you.
Yes. Because when you do that thing, when you survive it or even succeed at it, it provides irrefutable, concrete evidence that your internal beliefs about your limitations were simply wrong.
It shatters your self-concept.
Completely. And it forces you to ask a powerful question. Wow, if I
Yeah.
could do that, what else am I capable of? It builds this incredible evidence-based confidence that's hard to shake.
That's powerful. Okay, so clarity, focus, tackling fear.
Mm.
That leads us to the final day, day 7.
Day 7, implementing routine and consistency. This ties everything together. Procrastination is fundamentally a habit, right? A deep-seated, often unconscious, bad habit.
And the only way to override a bad habit is with a good one.
Exactly. The only way to reliably retrain your mind, especially that impulsive, energy-conserving part of it, is through consistent daily routine.
Because intensity is great, but it often fades. Consistency, even small actions done repeatedly over the long term,
Yeah.
that's what builds those rock-solid automatic habits.
The kind of habits that eventually don't require huge amounts of willpower every single day, they just become what you do.
So how do we design this procrastination taming routine?
Again, focus on minimizing friction for the desired action. First, decide when and where you'll do your most important work. Ideally, same time, same place every day. That consistency trains your brain.
Creates a trigger.
Right. Second, keep your starting activities simple. Maybe it's 5 minutes of meditation, some deep breathing, a short walk, something calm. But the absolute crucial step is to get started immediately on your most important task after that.
No delays. No, let me just check this one thing first.
Zero. Zero phones, zero emails, zero news before that key work gets done, or at least gets a solid block of focus time. Turn off the Wi-Fi again if needed. Use the blockers. Make it easy to start and hard to stop.
If you commit to doing that difficult, important task first thing, you basically ensure that every single day you win the biggest battle early on, regardless of how the rest of the day unfolds.
You've banked a win. It sets a positive tone for everything else.
Okay, so let's try to summarize this whole 7-day deep dive then. Procrastination. It's essentially placing the burden of today, the mental and emotional weight of what needs doing now, onto this imaginary future self.
The future self who doesn't really exist yet and who will inevitably be just as overwhelmed if we keep doing that. Yeah.
But by understanding its roots, that obsolete protection mechanism, by actively closing those open loops mentally.
By replacing flawed mental models like that whole motivation first idea or the myth of the capable future self.
And by relentlessly pursuing clarity, the why, what, and how, and then protecting our focus from overstimulation.
And facing down that fear of inadequacy, reframing it with yet maybe even doing something impossible.
We gain real practical leverage over the habit. We build consistency through routine.
Exactly. It becomes less of this giant monster and more of a manageable tendency.
And let's be realistic here. As you said up front, you will still procrastinate sometimes. We all do. It's
Yeah.
not about perfection.
Absolutely not. The goal isn't eradication. So when it inevitably happens, the path forward isn't beating yourself up. It's not self-flagellation.
It's self-compassion.
Yes, acknowledge it without judgment. Okay, I procrastinated. Then gently recommit to the routine, recommit to the principles,
Yeah.
and just get started again, even if it's small.
Remembering that growth mindset, you might not be where you want to be, or as good as you'd like to be.
But you're not inadequate. You just haven't gotten there yet. Focus on the process, the consistent effort, not just the final outcome.
Right. So, a final thought for everyone listening. If you feel that familiar pull, that resistance settling in right now as you think about a task, what is that one small, maybe slightly uncomfortable, impossible thing
That one action.
that you could attempt maybe in the next hour just to challenge those limiting beliefs, to prove to yourself, even in a tiny way, what you're actually capable of?
Think about it, and then perhaps the most direct application of everything we've discussed today is simply this.
Go back to work.